Let's be honest, 2020 was a year like no other, and it served up its fair share of shocking moments. Here are our top 10. I think a shocking moment for me was Missy Nash marrying Jessica Betts.
And it just popped on your timeline.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember scrolling and then I was like, wait, what? Missy's married? Because she literally had just announced she was separating.
Yes.
Then the divorce news came out and maybe 6 months later, she's in a wedding dress. I think that was what was a shocker.
What was surprising for me was how long she had known Jessica. I scrolled back down that timeline as a journalist, and I hit 224 weeks back, and she was still popping up on Jessica's timeline.
Jessica Betts is an artist that feeds your soul. Get into it. I love you, Jessica.
I just don't think anybody expected her to be now married to a woman after being married to a pastor first, then to Jay, and then this relationship at 50 just came as a complete surprise to fans.
I've lost my heart.
I was just very surprised that this was obviously a long-lasting friendship that turned into much more.
Look, I'm happy for them, and they should live their best life. And maybe this is the relationship that Niecy had been looking for.
I can't wait for her How to Keep Your Woman book.
What is best for our nation, our people? What is just, true justice? We have to think about all these things together as a people.
I think we can all agree that Kanye West had quite a year, but I think what was different this year is the extremes in his behavior. We all remember that video, and he's in tears talking about abortion and North, and it was so different. I don't think we ever knew the depths of his hurt until we saw that moment, but it was also, I think, the most transparent moment of his illness. And then he would be out in a field with 1,000 people in muted colored smocks singing and praising God with Sunday service. And so we really saw just extreme Kanye's that we hadn't seen before. Even his getting on Twitter and talking about Kim and talking about Chris, and even Larsa Pippen got it.
He's never gone at the family like that before.
I think the thing that was shocking for me was that when we would see the headlines, no one wanted to address the elephant in the room, which was Kanye West has mental illness. And I think that that was the reason for the manic highs and lows, for the Twitter rants, for the breakdown in South Carolina. And I thought we were doing him a disservice and the mental health community a disservice by not calling it what it was and talking about it in a respectful way, but also just in a truthful way.
Here we go. It's time to throw down.
What's crazy is the biggest sports moments in 2020 were really fringe sports moments. But to me, the craziest, most shocking sports moment was when Nate Robinson got knocked out. I mean, knocked the hell out.
Oh, Lord!
I thought he was dead, Kevin. I sent prayers. I had a prayer chain. I had a prayer cloth. I really thought Nate was done for.
Jake Paul knocked him out on the undercard of the Roy Jones Jr. Mike Tyson fight, and that was a spectacle in itself.
And Mike Tyson explodes and delivers a left to the body.
I'm sorry, because I think we are missing a big part of the fight night. If it were not for Snoop Dogg, I don't know that I would have kept watching.
You're absolutely right.
Oh, my God! Lord have mercy! Oh, Jesus!
Snoop gave you everything you were thinking. He was all of us watching that fight.
One of the stars of Welcome to Sweetie Pies is now charged in a murder-for-hire plot.
41-year-old James Tim Norman is now charged in connection with a murder-for-hire plot that left his own nephew dead.
Not to make light of it, but nobody had this on their 2020 bingo card.
It was mind-blowing.
It was all about the money.
In case you don't know, Tim Norman is the son of Miss Robbie. She has that restaurant, Sweetie Pies, the soul food. He was on there, he's cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, all the time.
And then fast forward to 2020, we find out that Tim had a $400,000 life insurance policy on Andre, in which he was the sole beneficiary. And then we hear that he was instrumental in possibly a murder for hire plot to have his own nephew killed. And of course, Tim has pled not guilty. We do need to say that, but the evidence is not in his favor. The more information we get, it does not look good for Tim. And our hearts really go out to Miss Robbie. Tim had spent some time in prison, so she's already gone through that with him. And to be here again and have her own grandson be the victim of it all is just unbelievable.
Hips don't lie. Them hips were hiding something. Something about him didn't sit right with me. And I'm not trying to make light of it, but I think I'm not alone here. HipHollywood comment section. I think y'all know something just did not sit right in the hips for me.
His hips?
His hips, Kevin. You knew he was thick in the thigh.
You're not alone in that. People definitely saw something in him. It's just troublesome to know that that was family.
I'm a savage, classy, bougie, ratchet, sassy, moody, nasty,
You know, if there's anybody who won the year, it's Meg Thee Stallion. When she dropped that Savage remix with Beyonce,
bougie, ratchet,
and then you're gonna follow it up with Cardi, and then you're gonna end the year with Body. It was just an incredible year for her because all three of those songs crossed over and they were bangers. Now, in between was a shocking moment. She got shot.
It was traumatic for her.
Rapper Tory Lanez has been charged in connection with the shooting of fellow hip-hop star Megan Thee Stallion. Lanez is accused of shooting Megan Thee Stallion's feet back in July after she exited his SUV during a fight in the Hollywood Hills.
The next thing you know, she's doing a whole perp walk and her foot is bleeding. Tory was in that car along with her friend. Initially, we heard that she had been cut by glass, but then now we know it was actually gunshot wounds.
Yes, this Tory shot me.
She was in the hospital, and the way Tory Lanez handled it afterwards was just, I think most women, if not most people, found it very disgusting.
And immature. Instead of just being quiet and eating his food, he decided that he then wanted to drop an album and smear her, not to mention denial about shooting her, when he should have just left that up to the court. Because now the court of public opinion thinks you're a boy, thinks you're lame, wants to have you deported back to Canada. And I just think it was a sad way to end things for him when you shouldn't have shot the woman in the first place, but I think he could have held on to some sort of dignity if he had have handled things differently. But he got Sean Hawley as his attorney, so Lord knows 2021 what will happen.
A shocking moment for me was Jada's entanglement with August Alsina.
It's all love, honestly.
Now, let me just tell you, when the news first broke and August put it out there,
I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life.
I didn't believe it. And I called folks who were close to the Smiths to double check because I was like, come on, why is he doing this? And they were like, hey, look, you know, there's a young man who's troubled and he's been pushing this narrative for a while. Just don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, I got it. And then they went to the red table and dropped the biggest bombshell of the year.
And I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship. Absolutely.
Jada?
You were shocked beyond belief. I don't know why you were so shocked, Kevin. What we've seen over the years is that where there's smoke, there is fire. And the Smiths have always had a very unique marriage, a unique relationship. At one point, they weren't even calling it a marriage. They said they were life partners or something. There were always the rumors of what they like to do.
Listen, there's been crazy rumors, but for the most part, they've been crazy rumors. And so that's how I treated it. I was like, this is crazy. And why is old boy going out on a limb saying this?
He gave me his blessing.
That's why I didn't buy into the rumors. Because I just didn't think if Jada's cheating, it ain't gonna be with him.
When you saw that interview and the tears in his eye and that cute twist out he had with the highlight and that beanie, I felt his heart.
My heart space is blocked. I don't really have a choice but to express my truth.
Now I'm looking at August like, I see you. Mine has changed now.
Stop.
I just wanted to feel good. It had been so long since I felt good.
Congratulations to them with the red table, because the red table has become the table. And can I just say, is Gammy winning or what?
Oh my God. Come on, Gammy. Come on, Gammy.
And she always say what I'm thinking. Gammy,
yeah, they needed her during that interview.
Yes.
To be honest, Gammy should have moderated because Gammy would have kept it all the way real.
Child, please.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
One of the shocking deaths of 2020 had to be the passing of Chadwick Boseman. And I've spoken to almost everyone who worked with him in his last few films, and nobody knew.
I mean, you know, he was thin. He was very thin, and he was very tired. But can I just tell you how many actors I've worked with who are very thin and very tired?
Mm-hmm.
So there was nothing about Chadwick that was anything other than a life force.
You had a really revealing exchange with him, Jazz, in the 21 Bridges junket.
I did. And going back to watch that interview now, it was tough to watch. I just remember I walked in the room. He was his jolly, normal Chadwick self. It was him and Stephen James, actually. They were paired. They were clowning my beret. I had on a red beret.
I like the shape and the color.
So he was, he was hype and nice. And I asked him about his slender frame. And the look in his eyes was different. But I didn't know at the time that was because he was hiding a personal and private battle with colon cancer.
I noticed that you were slimmer though. Was that on purpose? Did you drop some weight from, all of your Black Panther?
From Black Panther,
yeah.
I didn't want to be Black Panther.
Yeah. Purposely, like for real, you were like,
I didn't want to be Black Panther.
Yeah. So you were just like, I'm gonna drop something. What did you do to lose the weight?
Ryan.
Now watching the interview, I know that that's not what it was. And other people in the hotel also noticed it. There were other journalists that were like, you notice how small Chadwick is? And I was like, yeah, he said he lost the weight for the film, and I just left it at that. So it was tough finding out that all that time he'd been working 4 years battling cancer, doing all these movies. It really shows you what kind of fighter he was on and off the screen.
He's a great talent that will be missed, a great talent.
I think everyone will remember where they were the day Kobe died.
We're coming on the air with breaking news, very sad news to tell the sports world. The LA Times is reporting that retired Los Angeles Lakers basketball star Kobe Bryant has been killed in a helicopter crash.
I remember being at the Grammys in my trailer getting ready for the pre-show, and people started to call me, and I didn't believe it. I was like, that didn't happen. Kobe's not dead. Y'all stop. And then Jasmine called me.
I called you because I also didn't believe it. But at the same time, I knew if anybody knew, it was you. I knew you were either at the Staples Center on your way. Obviously, the relationship you had with Kobe and Entertainment Tonight, you guys get information so quickly. So I was like, Kevin, are you seeing this? Simultaneously, I gave Shawnee a call, not knowing Shawnee O'Neal, one of my really good friends, not knowing that she was actually sitting outside of the Mamba Academy waiting for her daughter's game to start. And so we're on the phone. She walks in and she just sees a woman running into the academy. And this woman obviously had information that he passed, and she was letting everyone know inside of the Mamba Academy. And she said instantly, like, there just was this immediate dark cloud. The game stopped, kids began crying, and I felt like it was a volley between talking to you, Kevin, and talking to her, like passing this information, what she was seeing from the inside, what you were getting from the Staples Center. It was a lot to take in all at once. And I don't know if I gathered my emotions until later on that day and realized, like, this man and his daughter and several other people have just passed in such a tragic way.
It was a wave of grief for people because he really transcended sports. He was much more than a basketball player.
It was one of the most difficult nights because you're right there in the place where he played his entire career.
He was always a real cool dude. He always showed me love.
Our pre-show, everything was thrown out the window. All these stars who were coming down the red carpet, a large majority of them were connected to Kobe. And if they weren't connected, they were huge fans. So it really changed the tenor of the Grammys that night.
We're literally standing here heartbroken in the house that Kobe Bryant built.
It broke my heart because he had grown into this great father, this great mentor.
Kobe, right off the bat, I want to talk to you about something that a lot of people don't ask you about, your family, and especially your daughters, how much you love to spend time with them. What does that mean to you, and how you keep that away from the public?
Well, it means everything to me.
I think over the years, because of your relationship with him, we got unprecedented access to him that I don't know that a lot of outlets got unless you covered sports. And so I think we were able to go to different events that he was doing outside of basketball, his philanthropic charity events, anything that he was doing in terms of like collaborations. We got a chance to talk to him. And I think that was really special.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, someone who's not maybe as into sports, interviewing Kobe Bryant for the first time is nerve-wracking. I mean, it's like, oh, and then you just know he's intense. You hear these things about him, you like he's tough. You see him on the court, but then I get to this premiere, he has this new watch launch, and it was also around the time that he was on the cover of Luamo Vogue. And it was the first time I realized this guy, he has personality. He's funny, he's cracking jokes, super lighthearted, and just really easy to talk to. And I thought, my entire perception of him changed in that moment.
New career path, maybe a model?
No. It's too nerve-wracking for me.
Now preseason has started. What is the team looking like right now?
We look good. We're playing extremely well. We're working hard. Everybody's healthy, so hopefully we can keep it going.
Another championship for LA?
I hope so. That's the plan.
He was one way on the court, but when we got a chance to talk to him, he really showed a different side of himself.
What's interesting is the last time I saw Kobe was at the Just Mercy premiere, and he was so happy. And he's like, when are you coming back out to see the girls play? Oh, they're going now. And I was like, all right, and gave him a hug. And I was just like, I got to go out there and see the girls play. And next thing you know, he's gone. And it is a huge loss because I think he was going to lead the way for the next generation.
Losing him in such a tragic, unthinkable way really was earth-shattering for a lot of people. And I don't think we'll ever be able to quantify what that loss means.
He really will be missed.
Absolutely.
Hands up, don't shoot, hands up, don't shoot, hands up, don't shoot, hands up, don't shoot, hands up, don't shoot.
I think that there was a moment of racial reckoning in this country this year, and the Black Lives Matter movement was incredible.
It wasn't about who you were, you didn't have to be a celebrity. People were just fed up and they were tired.
It was the people pushing the movement. It didn't need the celebrity angle. It didn't need the celebrity voice. And while those voices helped to amplify the cause, it was really the people in these communities that are impacted daily on a real tangible level.
I think we all just found this collective voice of enough is enough.
I had a chance to go to Minneapolis. I was there for the George Floyd Memorial, and I talked to the stars like Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, Ludacris, Tyrese, all the folks who went there, and they just went to pay tribute to George Floyd. They didn't want to be celebs making a grand stand. And I was taken aback by the amount of people that were there just standing outside quietly, black, white, listening, trying to understand. And then I went to the site where George Floyd lost his life. There is hope, because what is happening is this younger generation, there is a new generation of people coming along that grew up with a black president, that are used to seeing African Americans in an equal status. They want equality and rights for all people.
I also did appreciate, though, that there were white allies, no matter if they were celebrities or influencers, who for once took a moment to amplify the voices of Black people who really were educated.
We are in a state of emergency. Black people are dying in a state of emergency.
And they did it in a way that I felt that was respectful. And it wasn't about a hashtag. It was about, what can I do to really help the cause?
I thought that it was impactful seeing how the sports world kind of took this to task.
I thought the WNBA, the NBA, LeBron James and others were willing to step forward and use their voice and amplify these issues.
We are scared as Black people in America. Black men, Black women, Black kids, we are terrified.
I also thought that MLS did a great job. I mean, they were there in the bubble, and before every game, everyone knelt.
I liked, lastly, that it helped to vindicate on some level Colin Kaepernick, and all the naysayers were kneeling. And all the people who thought that perhaps he was going about it the wrong way understood finally why he did what he did.
At the end of the day, All we're asking for, and all that's being said is, can our lives be worthy to you so that you don't take them?
We just crossed a horrific milestone with more than 300,000 deaths. The U.S. with 4% or so of the world's population has roughly, at least according to official numbers, 20% of the world's coronavirus deaths.
Of course, the COVID pandemic has been the thing that has really dominated this year.
This is truly an unprecedented situation.
This virus doesn't discriminate. It attacks everyone.
Our hearts go out to all the people who have lost their loved ones or lost their fight with this heinous virus, but it has dramatically affected the entertainment business.
The bright lights of Hollywood are dark, and the impact is epic.
We have been doing virtual junkets. There have been no premieres. There haven't been face-to-face interviews. There haven't been all those shoots that normally we would go on and cover as Hip Hollywood.
A rumor got started that Black people were literally immune to this disease. That was all over the internet. Started off as a joke. People took it seriously. And in fact, you've seen this before with HIV. Oh, HIV, that's just for gay people. I don't have to worry about it. And then it spread everywhere.
I don't know that everybody quite understood how serious it was, and that even to this day, people still don't want to take it seriously in some points.
We had all the jokes. We was talking about the water we wasn't gonna drink. It was hashtag Dasani, hashtag smart water. Then you had Dat Rona. I mean, we really made a mockery of coronavirus in the very beginning. You weren't getting it if you were melanated. That was the thing. And then lo and behold, Tom Hanks of all people gets it. And when I tell you, the tide turned and the jokes stopped. Even for the way we covered it at Hip Hollywood, we were a part of, covering the jokes. And as soon as Tom got it, it was like, oh, wait a minute, let me put my mask on. This thing is real.
No, Tom definitely made people pay attention and be like, okay, this is legit. But when Black folks start tuning in is when Idris Elba got it.
Yeah.
That moment, it was like a record scratch. It was like, whoop, hold on now. Black people can get this.
Yeah, and it sucks.
And Idris is like our premium Black. So people were devastated. They were like, how did he get it? And so I think that was a big turning point as well.
Hopefully we will get back to normal life, that everything will get back to normal. But until then, put a damn mask on, y'all.
Please.
All right, those are our top 10 most shocking moments of 2020. But a lot of stuff happened, and we know that you guys may have some other moments. So make sure you put them in our comment section below.
And make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, subscribe to our Roku channel and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. HipHollywood.com. I'm Jasmine Simpkins.
I'm Vanessa Barnett.
And I'm Kevin Frazier.